trying to keep it quote unquote affordable.
Yeah.
I mean, and I get that because it's like $150 for a bead lock, and like $80 for a non-bead lock wheel, roughly.
Yeah. Sure, but we'll spend $900 on bird cages for the back.
Exactly. We'll spend $1,300 on a carburetor.
There you go.
I mean,
And we're worried about a $100 bead lock or $150 bead lock.
where are our priorities here?
Yeah. Where's the line you can draw?
That's what I just don't understand. I don't like it.
I see you're intent. You're definitely involved with something here. What you got going on there?
Well, I'm just looking and seeing what's coming on the Swears Trucking chat line. Um, Brad Newsom, the crew chief for, pit crew guy for Colin Weinbarger chimes in. They bolted their wheel covers on last year and they prefer it.
Nice.
They like keeping them on there. I agree. I like the idea of having the bolted on, but at the same time, I don't like welding onto the wheel.
Sure, but you could also get those ones that expand the ring ones and just tack weld them inside the wheel.
But that's and you bring up a good point. That's a great
Solution.
solution. But the problem being is, what does securely welded mean?
Well, it fits inside the groove, and you could tack weld it with a few tacks. I don't see where it'd be non-secure.
And that's the discussion I had with Dave Brin over it. Because literally, here's what it says. Foam or securely bolted plastic outer mud cover allowed on right side wheels only. Outer mud cover mounting tabs and rings must be integral to the wheel or bead lock or be securely welded to the wheel. So you're using a vague word like securely welded. That's a very loose term. So I agree with you. Tack welding it in 6 spots, that's securely welded because you're not holding on a lot of weight. It's not a lot of rotating mass. But is that going to fly with IMCA?
I'd be willing to bet yes.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Are they going to want, because they're saying the tabs have to be integral to the wheel, are they going to want a weld all the way across the flange of the tab?
Yeah, that's going to be a hard call. We aren't going to know till the season starts and we see how picky everybody and everything is.
It's so subjective. Mm-hmm. It's so subjective. I mean, where do you draw the line with that? Mm-hmm. That's what I don't understand. I don't get it. And, if we're going to have rules, let's make them clear and cut.
Yeah, and from what I understand, the rules are going to be a little stricter this year, so that should be exciting.
Well, they always change things,
mm-hmm.
and that's the beauty of it. So the wheels were one, and here's the one that I didn't understand, and I'm still trying to figure out what they're trying to do here. Oh, before I forget, the other way you can solve the wheel covers from flying off?
Yes.
Glue a piece of foam on the back. You can still Zeus it on, but then you glue a piece of foam to the back, like a foam inner mud cover, mud plug. As soon as that thing tries to get airborne like a Frisbee, it's going to fall straight to the ground.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's what the sprint cars use for years, isn't it?
Yeah, and the late models still use them.
Yeah, so... Yeah, maybe we're blowing this out of proportion.
I don't... Proportion? What's proportion? It drives me nuts. Because it's just dumb rules like I'm not saying dumb rule, but it's changes to the rules like this that make you sit there and think, because they're not clear.
Mm-hmm.
And they say securely welded. Okay. Does that mean you can JB weld it? Because technically that's a weld.
Well, yeah. I guess that's, if your roll cage is to be securely welded, as is lead is supposed to be securely fastened.
Yeah. So securely fastened lead, does that mean you need to Loctite the bolts in with red Loctite or green Loctite or something? I mean...
Or the crew can go pick it up after the race and sell lead.
Yeah. Don't ever let me catch you doing that. I'll beat you over that one. That's the one that I don't get. But the other one, the one that made no sense to me at all, and it's the same in the sport mods as it is the A mods. You know the limiting chains on the back of the cars, or...
Right.
Safety chains.
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
I have to use the right terms here because they're called safety chains for IMCA, and I don't understand why. Because they consider it a suspension device.
Okay.
But they have to have slack during inspection.
Okay.
Why would you not want slack in your chain when you're just sitting on the scales?
I don't even that doesn't seem to be. It'd be like you need to have air in your tires before you roll through.
Exactly.
It's kind of a given, isn't it? Kind of.
Kind of a given. I'm pretty sure it is a given. I mean, you're gonna have. That's like saying you've got to have oil in your engine to turn it over. Oh wait, never mind.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's.
You know it.
It's almost
It's redundant. You've got to have water in your radiator.
Yeah. Okay.
What's the point?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the biggest changes in the IMCA rules were with the sport mods, because the one that threw everybody for a loop this last year, and I said there was a lot of chatter with everybody running the Pacific Sport Mod Challenge that Steve Kurtlovich puts on, was with the rear shocks, and the big one is this is taking it right out of the rules. Rear shocks must be mounted to a bracket below the bottom of the axle tube and to the upper frame rail, and must be located behind the rear end housing.
Okay.
So no more mounting them to the bars.
Okay.
You got to mount them to the rear end.
Okay.
Into the frame rail. 90% of the sport mods out there that I had the opportunity to look at their suspension, they were running them on those bars.
Right.
It just don't make sense.
Well, I think the thing is with the sport mods, it blew up overnight. You know, it went from, you got to figure you could take a couple-year-old modified that was already built, with a 3-bar, and you could have a sport mod overnight. It wasn't a big deal, and that was supposed to be the affordable way to go modified racing, and it's growing into a big class again, just like all the other ones are. And it gets scary. I'm not going to lie, I don't want to keep getting back to my Hornet, but use it as an example. It's like you see the money that people are starting to dump into these things, and it's like you can't even go have fun. There's no fun in somebody just throwing cubic dollars at it to go win a race at the local track. That doesn't I can't comprehend it.
Well, and we saw that last year with the street stock division.
Mm-hmm.
The purpose-built street stocks coming out of the Midwest. I mean, it's
beyond belief. Well, it happened at our Hornet race.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes a
cubic dollars car
that just cleans everybody up. Well, there's no ingenuity to that. He just spent a lot of money and had a lot of good stuff.
He was fast.
Real fast. And it was bone stock.
It was?
I say it with sarcasm.
You need to work on your comedy, Dom. You're telling me I need to work on my comedy?
No, I can hold a straight face.
Dude, you always hold a straight face.
That's right.
I don't. It is what it is. Holy craggy.
Now, what about late models? They have any changes?
Late models this year did have a rules change, and I'm going to pull that up here real quick.
I'm just trying to see how quick you are with the cursor.
Oh, after all the work I do on computers all day long, I should be a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
So, here's the biggest change this year for the late models.
I'm ready.
I'm making sure I'm reading this right. Okay. Hoosier D55 spec and Hoosier WRS2 tires.
Okay.
Siping, grooving, and grinding, okay. We can cut tires again.
All right.
We're back to grooving. They ran a test last year with running big blocks only. Now we can run small blocks. I think that's going to be a good move on the track's part, because that's going to follow a lot of what else is going on in the country.
Yeah. Yeah, keep everything up to date and in with the times and not going backwards. Let's go forward.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There was another rules change. I'm trying to remember where it is. Max body width, 76 inches from the top of the door and 90 inches at the bottom of the door. So you can have up to, 14 inches of rake, I guess is what you would call it, in the door panels on the side.
Nice.
That's a new one this year.
Not to jump back to the modifieds, did they do any body changes?
No, they did not.
No.
They did not do any bodies.
I know, yeah, because when Matthew did ours, he did it last year. It was gorgeous, and he makes everything right to spec. It was really nice.
He does. He
does
does
a
a
really
good
good
job.
job. Yeah.
I learned a few things
Yeah.
from him over the years of building bodies with him. So here's the fun part. Everybody was talking about the spoilers last year, and that was a big topic. I know Corey was hot to trot on the spoilers with the 525s and the Opens and the 604 cars. There is no spoiler change this year.
Now, we talking, since we've been switching subjects, modified or late model?
Late model.
Okay.
Excuse me. So 602s and 604 GM sealed crate engines still have the 2250 weight and a 12-inch spoiler. 525s and IMCA Claimer motors, 2300 minimum weight and a 10-inch spoiler. Open motors, 2350 and an 8-inch spoiler.
Sounds pretty fair to me.
Sounds pretty fair to me, and that's the thing is you start talking, at 76 inches, you're talking about 152 square inches of extra air deflection. That's extra downforce up there.
It's sideboard. How can you not take it?
Exactly. I mean, if we go back to the USRA rules with the modifieds, I would put a 7-inch blade on the back of my race car any day of the week.
Well, and don't want to keep going back to our modified, but that's the one thing. Like when Matthew would do the car, I'm like, well, why does it have this? He's like, well, look, you get this. You gain all this cubic inches of force.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you take it? It was quite interesting when I learned how that worked.
And you got to think back to this couple things and think about how you could apply that to your Hornet.
Oh yeah, what you mean my plexiglass windows?
I don't know what you're talking about. I thought they were Lexan. That's the big changes there in the late models. That's one that, I know we all talked about that we wanted to touch on tonight is there's a few things. Now, this is the fun part. At the top of the rules, it says if you doesn't say you can, then you can't. They added a line after this year.
Oh.
Tech official has final say in all decisions.
Well, that is new. And I did see that on the Hornet ones as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard rumors that it's going to be a touchy year for a lot of things.
It is. That's what I've heard as well. But here, the fun.
I'm not trying to throw out any rumors, but
I'm not throwing out any rumors, but I think we're going to be able to clear up some rumors eventually here on the show. Maybe next week.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't want to get too far into that until I.
Well, we're waiting for confirmation on one more thing before we release exactly what we've got going on for next week. And I'm sure Corey is feverishly, his thumbs are going crazy. Actually, he doesn't use his thumbs to text anymore. He's got one of them pen pokey thingies. Yeah. What are they called, like stylus or something?
And he puts it in his mouth and writes on the phone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to watch. If you haven't seen Corey text in a while, you guys need to because it's.
I mean, he's got a flip phone. It's sad.
It is. Some people, though. Oh, my gosh. We'll tell you what. We're hitting 7:30 right now. Let's go into our second commercial break of the evening, and we'll be right back here from the AMCO Total Car Care Center with more Northwest Dirt News.
The Wild West welcomes the most technologically advanced dirt track racing chassis being introduced by none other than the West Premier Dirt Track Speed Shop, Bar S Motorsports.
The Longhorn chassis has been produced since 2010 and was created by two former NASCAR champions, the Labonte brothers.
Bar S knows what performance means. FK bearings, rod ends, Weir's machine, hypercoil springs, Penske shocks, and real racing wheels are all part of the Power Pack products guaranteed to be on the shelf.
Dirt track champions need the best equipment with brands like Velocita fire suits, Safecraft, Hooker harnesses, The Joy of Seating, and Cold Fire extinguishers. Why trust your safety to anyone else?
When it comes to making your car look fast when it's standing still, Bar S Motorsports has you covered. With SRI, Dirt Defender, Risco, 5-Star Bodies, Slick Products, and Joe Gibbs Racing Products.
Looking to join the likes of Kyle Strickler, Tim McCready, and Jonathan Davenport? Bar S Motorsports is proud to be the West's authorized dealer for Longhorn chassis.
No matter what you drive on the track, Bar